played, and that gets us to our big stat. It's brought to you by Hardee's, where there is good in the making every day from sunrise to supper time. We focus on the amazing start for the Hoosiers under Curt Cignetti. 202 points through 4 games, most to start a season in school history. In fact, it's the most points in any 4-game stretch ever for Indiana. And as we have firmly established, you and I, Ashley, ever is a long time. It's a long time. And of course, we're going to have that game, Maryland and Indiana, here on the Big Ten Network. You see coverage starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time with Big Ten Tailgate, leading you up to the game at noon Eastern between the Terps and the Hoosiers. And Cignetti has pointed out, he said this after the Charlotte game, hey, I understand it's the most points that Indiana's ever scored in 4 games, but let's be honest, the schedule hasn't been the greatest. And his story definitely checks out. The 4 teams they played are combined 3-11, but they've been crushing people, Ashley. I mean, it's not like they're just eking out victories against these teams. They are destroying people. So how sold are you on the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I think again, we're going to find out more this weekend, but I'm feeling good about the Hoosiers. I'll tell you what, I think a measure of a good team is one that does not play down to the level of their own competition. And Indiana, to your point, they have not done this. I'll be honest, when the schedule came out, Dave, I didn't exactly have this one like immediately circled as a game that I was going to be absolutely interested in and dialed in as I am right now. But here we are. And Indiana, they're undefeated. They're playing phenomenally well. They've just got this new sense of confidence that I imagine comes from their head coach and Curt Cignetti. And Maryland is a play or 2 away from being undefeated as well. They lost to Michigan State on a last-second field goal. So now we get to find out more. I think both quarterbacks, Billy Edwards and Curtis Rourke, have been terrific. So excited to see how they perform as we get into the meat of conference play. And I was going to save this for one of my questions at the end. But, Dave, I'm curious for you. Like, what do you think Ty Felton has to do to get more national attention for the way he's playing? I mean, maybe it's just to keep doing the thing that he's doing against Big Ten teams, but I love this young man's story. Under-recruited out of high school because of an injury. He stays loyal to Maryland. And in his 4th year, he's just tearing it up. And when you look at his stats, the thing that I love the most, he is leading all of FBS wide receivers in yards after catch and yards after contact. So not only is he making those catches, but he is squeezing every single ounce out of every play. I am officially in the Ty Felton fan club, and he's going to be squarely in the running for the Blitnikoff and a lot more awards if he keeps it rolling.
I agree. I think that recognition will start to come. I think it's begun. He's begun to get noticed here a little bit. Certainly in Big Ten country, people are talking about him quite a bit. But I think it plays into your point a little bit is, can you continue to do this against Big Ten opposition? Obviously, he did have a really nice game against Michigan State, but that's really the big question for Maryland. I mean, that's where I'm so interested in Maryland, right? I mean, the disparity between what they do in the non-conference and what they do in conference play is striking. And as much as we're wondering how good Indiana's going to be and whether or not they're able to continue this kind of performance as the Big Ten schedule ramps up, to me, the same question is true of Maryland. We've already seen them play one Big Ten game. And as you said, it was nip and tuck. It could have gone either way, but Michigan State beat them. And this has been a theme under Mike Locksley. They're 14-28 in conference play under Locks. They're 17-1 in non-conference. And they have beaten some pretty good teams in non-conference. So it's not like, well, they just schedule down and they don't beat anyone. That's not the case. The issue has just been, for whatever reason, they haven't been able to kind of follow through in those games. And Mike Locksley's talked a lot about mindset this week, about not panicking when things get tough in a game. And he was really impressed with what they did against Virginia, that they were down early against Virginia and that they didn't panic. And Virginia is a team not unlike the quality of some teams in the Big Ten. So can you do that against teams in your league? And by extension, can Ty Felton do that continually as well?
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. I'd be curious. I know we need to move on soon, but just a thought from you, having covered this team. Billy Edwards, when we coming into the season, I didn't really know what to expect. He's named the starter. We know that he can run, but I feel like the way he has been throwing the ball, so far this season has been a little bit of a revelation, at least to me. You've been more dialed in on this team and you know him better. What have you made of the way that Edwards has started the season?
Huge revelation, no doubt. I guess when I saw that they had signed MJ Morris, I thought MJ Morris would probably be their starting quarterback because Edwards has shown us to be a really good runner in past years and an okay passer. But Mike Locksley's so complimentary of the time that he has spent in the facility, of how respected he is among the guys, that the players have looked to him for leadership for quite some time. And it's one of those testaments to patience. We've talked a lot about Miller Moss. I think Billy Edwards is the same way. You are behind a historic record-setting quarterback. He'd already transferred once from Wake Forest, and rather than look for his next landing spot, he stuck around, he got better, he got to the point where he knew their playbook inside and out, and when the opportunity came, he seized it. It's really been one of the better stories in the Big Ten.